Xiao should help out Pays later the game goes on, and then both Scout and Xiaoshu should be able to at least figure out who's going to go Bloodletters, who's going to go Leandry, so that they can burn down these giant health bars as well, or it actually spawned. So this is plenty of time for JDG to get their bases back in, get some decent purchases, and JDG can now send their bot lane towards the top side of the map, get Xiaoshu out of the reverse swap, and this should put JDG in a spot where they can compete for grubs. Smash mode. Shadow making sure to not go for the Krugs. He needed to beeline back over to the grub so that he can be there for the play. Shun is already the first one here in the river. Maybe they're trying to bait on into a fight and look for a quick pick. Nice Cyclone interrupting the crash down. Even with the flash, it's too late. On is turned off, and JDG pick up first blood.
Lanes. I was really hoping the observers would show us something in mid, because Scout has been holding Knight under his turret for the majority of this laning phase so far. So JDG, they get those first 3 grubs where they should have had a numbers advantage. So now we've basically forced our AD carry, our jungler anyway, to use the Cyclone. Wukong will not have that up and available. BLG, though, suffering because their bottom lane have not found good trades.
Subjugate is now popped. Weaver's Wall comes in, but the Hero's Entrance does as well. Wink tries to break up the fight with the hostile takeover, but they've lost their jungler in Shun, and Wink falls next. Like you said, Alk, no Cyclone means it's a lot more difficult, but here comes Xiaoshu with the equalizer, but just forces the flash out of Elk. But Scout answers with the flash of his own and throws a giant rock at the back of Elk's head. Call of the Forge God already being used by Ben as he joins the fight, but this could be good for JDG. Just the way to flash onto Ben. He flashes and he still dies anyway. Scout is in a lot of trouble. Gets smacked over the head by Knight, but they answer back on a Shadow. It's an all-out brawl on the bottom side of the map.
And the new top laner for JDG comes through with a magnificent teleport flank, gets the equalizer, the flash away from Elk, and BLG have been so aggressive so far in this game.
The respawn bases here. Boom.
There we go. We come right out of the replay, and you just felt it. You knew as a Shun appreciator, it's going to, I assume, to be a Hollow Radiance coming out from the Galio. There is not a ton in being able to take down these opponents.
Oh, here we go. It's the quota of Scout getting caught out here. He does flick them back, but he's got no reinforcements coming around anytime soon. Well, is this where it starts, Elk?
No, not yet.
Turret, which needs to be answered. Shadow's going to quickly take a few chomps out of it, ensure that they acquire first brick off the map here. And that, I don't think that necessarily puts them at feats of warfare, because I don't remember who got.
Well, it's already completed. So.
Okay. The Rift Herald spawn G.
Still.
Maybe Call of the Forge God looking at Scout. He still does not have flash on this Talia, but thankfully for him, the Seraph's Embrace has just been fully completed and stacked, so he'll have an extra shield just in case if he needed it. But BLG wasting that Call of the Forge God just to stop a little bit of the siege on the mid lane turret. That might give JDG the upper hand for this Rift Herald here.
I see Shadow moving down to his bottom side camps. BLG thought that they had perfect position, and even if they did catch Scout there, we saw it right as the Call of Forge God was landing. He finished his stacking of the the Seraph's Embrace.
Just showing that all this time, putting the Trundle Fries in the bag for BLG has paid off, and being able to find these, small niche scenarios here. BLG now taking their second turret off the map. Wandering. Scout can no longer approach from the safety of the blue buff entrance. JDG might just lose this dragon because BLG have full control.
Why did they give up control of the river? You have Xiaoshu teleporting into the mid lane tier 1. That should have been JDG holding their ground. We'll have to watch.
4,000 HP on the Dragon. Pillar already used. Weaver's Wall will separate some members here. On goes for the big engage. Hero's Entrance going to be big. Right on top. Equalizer. A lot of damage onto the front line. But the hostile takeover buys some time. And it gives JDG a momentary numbers advantage. Who's going to get the Dragon? Shun steals it from the hands of Shadow. Now he's locked in the pit. Still has the flash. Forced to use it over the wall. BLG, even with the first setup, lose the Dragon against BLG. And I have to remind everyone, this was something that we mentioned briefly on the pre-show of this season. Okay, well, Scout's gonna die again. God damn it. Anyway, despite those numbers, should still be the heavy favorites given their current split 3 season form. But Shun now has found Shadow isolated from any other members of BLG because they've already run for the hills.
I think
this is now an opportunity. I mean, Otacon is on the bottom side of the map, so they might not have enough time to look for that objective in BLG trade a tier 1 turn on the mid. Finding ways to participate and at least contribute to the overall success of JDG when it comes to these team fights here. Pays getting aggressive in the face of Elk. Forced to flash away. Wow, that was a lot of damage already. Pays is forced out of this fight, and Wink might be in trouble. Equalizer from Xiaoshu is going to try to break it up here, but the call of the Forge God for the response knocks Wink out of the park and sends the rest of JDG packing. Elk is going to look for any stragglers here.
You look at the end of this game with a BLG win, we'll be coming back to this moment here and asking, where did it all go wrong? A single pick there. And hey, if you're looking at this from the good side of JDG, they didn't lose very many summoner spells. Xiaoshu ends up teleporting into mid, and it seems like JDG still want to be able to contest for this dragon. Scout, please. Oh, thank God.
Well, that is Scout Flash once again burned at the hands of BLG. JDG ultimates come up. Look at that. 8 seconds on call of the Forge God. BLG have done what they needed, and now this big entrance from the side of BLG, this big engage tool, can now be used again to force JDG out of the pit. And they're going to have to ask themselves, do they want to take this fight? He's already in. Hero's entrance right over the top. Equalizer trying to slow them down, but Shadow secures the dragon. JDG, can they win the fight after? They've already lost Shun. It's a 4v5, but so many health numbers are low here. JDG will not be able to find a single kill off the back of BLG.
The gold lead that they've opened up for themselves. And think about the experience as well, because BLG got the Otacon off of that bottom lane play. And because of that, they're almost a full level over all of their opponents. Knight right now is level 17.
That's a big Galio, baby. And Shadow, because of the vision line that they had already established, where JDG were being trepidatious in trying to approach the Baron.
How slow this game has felt. I mean, 14 kills at 32 minutes. Feels like an anomaly here. Oh my God.
Decent pick on the On. Shadow's too tanky, but On is forced to flash Weaver's Wall with Scout, trying to make the pursuit happen. Teleport from Xiaoshu. Equalizer is good. On is pinned. He's going to get caught, but the hustle takeover is now a 5-on-4 and advantage for JDG. Call of the Forge God completely is not used by Bin because he is forced to run away. JDG trying to dig deep and pull a miracle despite being down so much gold. Pace takes a lot of damage. Where we're seeing a lot more pickoffs from On, and even with the support going down, Elk is still pulling his weight for the two of them as JDG trying to find their way through this river. The pillar forces Shun to use his clone just to dash back to safety. Call of the Forge God now looking for a couple members here, forcing the flash out of Scout. Pays dashes over the wall. Xiaoshu caught by the taunt, forced to flash as well. Hostile takeover, catches only one on the pin. Maybe they can find a pick on the Shadow quickly, but here comes the hero's entrance. Shadow falls. Knight is going to try to turn this one around, but it's only onto the clone of Shun. Shun goes back in, has one more cast of the Cyclone, gets a Night Up in this Knight, but he's too tanky, Elk.
Big point we're watching here. No flash on Xiaoshu or for Scout. They are waiting for their ultimates. 8 seconds on that Weaver's Wall and 5 here for Wink.
Trying to burn it down. Knight is forcing Scout away. Call the Forge God completely unused by Bin, but they burn up Wink anyway. Shun trying to commit to the dragon, trying to burn Bin down. It should go over.
They got
Scout, it secured the soul for JDG, and now they can try to turn the fight on his head. They've already burned out Bin. Elk might be in trouble. He's got the hero's entrance to back him up, trying to pursue Shun, but he was already forced to flash in the pit. Rest of JDG, if they can just live, this is a decent win for them now that they have the Cloud Soul on their side. Fourth item, that's a lot of AP now that is going to be coming through on this Galio, so it's no longer just a frontliner. It is someone that can threaten the backline if he gets on top of Pays or Scout. Baron is being burned down. Already below 7,000 HP. JDG trying to step in and force them off of it. They maintain the leash. On trying to threaten him with a flank on the left side, but Xiaoshu is marking him. Call the Forge God coming through. Wink throws out the hostile takeover. Scout tries to throw up Shun. Kill the jungler before it goes down.
He got it!
He steals the Baron! He steals another objective away from Shadow. Pays able to take out L2. JDG are pulling a miracle out against BLG, the undefeated team. In split 3, Scout might get caught here. The taunt from Knight will land, and at least he gets some revenge. But Knight has now condemned himself to a death to JDG. It is a full ace coming in for the side of Jindong Gaming.
Oh my God, they've done it. They've got Baron. Shun has been on top of the smites, a mechanic that we have had some questions for whether or not he's really been as tight. But with 3 grubs and 20 seconds before the next member, I think JDG just won game 1.
On is up in 5 seconds, but he's not a carry. He cannot kill the waves, and the rest of JDG are operating 4 men strong. Pays and the rest of JDG will continue to maintain their undefeated game streak against BLG for the season of 2025.
I look at this composition, Rafa, and I see a bottom lane that really might just come down to whether or not On is going to be able to push their opponents in the laning phase. You have Azir versus Ziggs, which should go in favor of Scout.
Man, with Shadow leading the charge, Shun might be able to at least grab this blue buff from Shadow before he gets there in time. Scout's recall is stopped here. He's forced to flash. The Permafrost Sun comes in from Shadow as he just might try to solo out Scout here. Does he have the satchel charge over the wall? Please, no! It's first blood for Shadow, and JDG lose out on their mid laner at 3.5 minutes.
Moderators, that counts. That counts as Scout getting caught out.
So channeled here. Doesn't look like it will be the case, as Shadow would have liked to have made something happen, but now it might be Shun's turn to create some impact on the map. Xiaoshu and Bin battling to the death. As Bin is able to flash over the Shistal's impact, Xiaoshu forced to flash away as well, but now it's a sitting Croc, and he's got nowhere else to go. Good push by Xiaoshu with the W, and that is a revenge kill for JDG.
They may be going to be focusing on this dragon after they're able to get their bot lane to reset.
Despite all that, the funny thing is that Scout is still ahead of Knight in CS. But now Shadow might make this dive happen onto Pays and Wink. There are both sums for Pays. He tries to get the Blade Caller into Shadow. It might be enough. Mega Inferno Bomb over the top. Pays is burned out, and the Mega Inferno Bomb is just a little too late. The snare from On walks down Wink, and that's the Fate of Warfare secured for BLG.
And it is a plate now here for Knight. So the big carries for BLG, and Knight and Elk are getting a lot of gold for themselves and opening up a big lead.
Oh,
there goes On.
Oh, okay. Well, On first hoodwink JDG, and then JDG hoodwinks On. So
for all intents and purposes, he thinks that Bin or that Shun could be in the area, and now no mid priority means that Shun gets invaded.
Yep, and Shun doesn't have flash from the fight before on the bottom side of the map. So this just means that the Golden Emperor himself can swoop on in, pick himself his first kill of the game, and ensure that JDG's jungle starts to suffer. This guy was the first one to bring it back into pro significancy back in 2024. So I'm just saying, APA would not lose lane this hard versus Scout right now.
True. So another dive potentially being started up here. No all-out available here for Xiaoshu, but 3 grubs could be the turret.
He pushes Shadow to the side. On is trying to take up the turret as much as possible on that cannon minion form. But Xiaoshu is able to stall enough time, at least for that first wave. But now El commits with the killer instinct. Shadow takes up the last turret shot. Doesn't even die. The dive is clean. And BLG extend their kill lead to 5.
That's going to be the turret. That'll be feats of strength going over to Bilibili. Upgraded boots as well. I think it plays onto Pays. Bin is really strong.
Yeah, he forced Pays to Featherstorm there. And
they can get the dragon. Wait a minute.
Shadow and Knight. Oh my god.
Give me the game. Give me the game, boys. Give me the game.
Unsealed spellbook tech. Shadow able to teleport with Knight at the same time, and they make the cross map play happen. That's tempo gaming right there.
Holy hell. You look at Shun now. Shun was trying to get this dragon. They thought with the 2v2 there that they could hold down Bin, but he's 30 CS up on his lane opponent. Xiaoshu has had some action go towards his lane, and while it has helped in the 1v1, we were to stop climbing from here, and we got a little bit longer in this game. I personally would really favor JDG's comp if we just took nameplates off. I think Ziggs is incredibly powerful against what Bilibili are showing. Xiaoshu does have flash and the all-out.
Permafrost for the first stun, all out. Takes him to the other side. Dodges the Glacial Prison stun, but is still relatively slowed. But the flash from Bin should be able to guarantee the kill. And it's the Call of the Meek to the face of Xiaoshu that brings him down.
It's the inactivity here from JDG, though. Look at what else is happening. We're seeing all the gold going to the right places here for BLG. 2-0-1 for the Azir. Say goodbye to Pays.
Jeez.
Trying to farm by himself. Where are the rest of the members of JDG? They're trying to make an action on the top side.
Side of the map. I mean, Shadow's going to answer just to make sure that Bin doesn't die in a 1v3 scenario. So Shun and Scout are now forced away, and Knight is now collapsing. Shun is forced to flash over the wall, but he still has a permafrost stuck on top of him. Glacial Prison will extend the CC chain, and Shun, all he can do is just throw out the Impale, and it just goes goes wide anyway since Shadow flashes back over the wall. Bin continues the fight. Knight is right there. Wink is trying to turn it around, but where's the damage coming through? Pays, throws out the Featherstorm, looks for the Blade Caller next, but it's just not enough. They're too far behind, and BLG are wiping the floor with them, now looking for the last straggler in Scout, but this Yordle Rat's got nowhere else to go, and he's going to be sent back to the fountain.
This content is unsafe for unmature eyes right now. Jesus Christ, JDG. Yep. It's a full-on ace for JDG, or for BLG, and they get even more turrets here. They get to take more of the jungle camps from Jingdong.
This game is wrapped. This game is donezo. This looks like a scrim match that has gone wrong, and JDG cannot get out.
All right, so you know what this means? This means we open up the notes. We start. All right, we throw darts at a board. Okay, who on BLG do we want to talk about here, Mark?
Their second dragon of the game, taking their sweet time with the state of things, as the next few objectives should never belong to JDG or should be acquired by JDG unless a series of unfortunate events. But I don't know if Lemony Snicket could write a series of disaster worse than what JDG has experienced in the past 17 minutes of this game, Alec.
Mark, I do want to get your thoughts. It's kind of gone now because they did this lower third mabobber. I'll hold.
Drifting.
I'll hold.
Oh.
Is this the most exciting part of the game? Oh. Doesn't matter.
Shadow should be taking enough to survive this, right? The Impale is going to bring him back, but this is a Chihuahua.
It's mattering.
Wait a minute. Mega Inferno Bomb. Okay, wait a minute. JDG do get a decent pick. It's a shutdown going into the hands of Pays. He could have built a Locket. It would have been fine. Hell, honestly, he should just build defensive utility items after, and it'll still be fine. As JDG are about to lose another tower on the map.
The game is kind of cooked like we were talking about. It's going to be an Otacon going over to BLG. I don't even care if JDG get the objective bounty that is this turret. And guess what? Doesn't seem like they're going to get that either.
I will say what JDG are trying to do now and just expend as many resources as they can to take freestanding gold and trying to walk up and contest space. This is a Kai'Sa that is... Yeah.
Look at the summoner. I'm looking at the player cams right now. Bin and On are laughing their asses off while Shun and them are dancing on top.
Shun's having a good time too. You know what? Stopped by On as well, being able to catch Shun in the wall with that tangled barbs, preventing the Skarner from being able to do anything. And look at that!
Bye-bye.
Scout has been clipped by the Glacial Prison. Doesn't get a chance to flash or react to the engage coming out. Shun might be the next one on the chopping block here. Permafrost not used. The rest of BLG just taking spaces where they can. Shadow will dash back over to the safety of his team. As JDG now down to their last towers inside their base.
Man, 300 games played between Bin and On together. Obviously playing here on this BLG roster for a while, and then eventually, or previously playing on a Suning roster. Here goes On.
Two-man Pop Blossom. Shun is able to answer back with an Impale onto Shadow, but this guy is way too tanky to be brought down early. And JDG just do not have enough firepower to be able to knock down this Boar Rider.
Coming out from him? That should just be Baron. You can see that BLG are hunting right now.
No mercy in this dojo. Okay. BLG will ensure that there are no survivors. And JDG now operating down a man, trying to compete for BLG in the space of the red quadrant.
Oh.
Shun gets clipped inside the wall. That's a dead Scorpion. Don't tell Captain Flowers, otherwise he's going to be sad. And BLG...
I just want to really focus on the difference that's happening in the bottom lane right now. Elk has maintained somewhere between a 3,500 to 4,000 gold lead over Pays for a large majority of this game. A few things you need to be really good about is generating resources for himself. We'll see this now. He's trying to generate no resources here for Pays.
Uh-oh. But Elk has a cleanse, thankfully, but Wing catches him with the grand entrance.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, BLG,
Caster Curse.
Just lost going to be enough to offset the deficit that BLG have over the hands of JDG.
Wink is looking for a flank. I don't know. What I was trying to set up there is that, like, when you talk about CS per minute, Elk is 6th in the league overall. Gold per minute, 1st overall. Let's see if they can make it happen here, JDG.
Wink finds another grand entrance onto Knight, but a great flash into the Emperor's Divide pushes all of his foes backwards. Xiaoshu tries to pursue him through it all, just does not have enough gas to be able to actually finish off the golden left hand himself, and BLG able to bounce back from a disastrous comeback made by JDG in Game 1 to show that they are just as dominant as ever and will pick up their first win against JDG in the season of 2025.
Well, if you're a Beichuan or Wei fan, this does mean that at the very least, if it is still a BLG win, he will tie their records for game score at 10-2. Feels like they have this pick, this dive that's available to them.
And everyone can go forward on this lineup. Aphelios, not the most mobile AD carry, but he is willing to advance with the rest of his team.
What I want to see this game is how Scout is going to move around. He has so much mobility on this champion, and especially early on, the Aurora matchup is very, very punishing for Knight. There are a few moments where you can actually take advantage of it, but in terms of your... Oh, wait a minute. This is a gank. This is a gank. Oh my god.
Yep. Hayes had the defensive position over to the left. Wink, not the same story, and that is first blood for Elk's Lucian.
I didn't think was going to go their way.
Yeah, I was definitely favoring BLG in that setup. As we talked extensively before, how powerful Braum can be in those skirmish scenarios where it's a bunch of champions stacked on top of each other, but...
I wonder if Shun could actually steal one more. His smite's coming up in like 20 seconds. If there's a fight that lasts for this long, maybe...
Elk does kite away with the dash, and good flash by Shadow avoids the headbutt pulverized combo, but this might be Shun being able to grab the second grub of the game since Knight went back to the mid lane. Scout was able to cover this time as the first mid laner to move over into the river. And Shun, I should say, is just gonna be greedy with the smite, not necessarily needing it since everyone from BLG is able to just give up space for it, so absorbs it and not pays the AD carry, and Shun is spotted on that tri-bush. Shun will be able to at least push Elk back in a way, but On might go down here. Does have placeable scissors because he is level 6. He's also got Exhaust and Flash, and even Scout arrives towards the top side of the map, will give himself his first kill of the game and ensure the demise of the support of BLG. Knight is now here to cover, but Shun is going to look now for Elk. The shockwave is flashed by Shun. Well done by the jungler JDG. And Knight has no real response against JDG. Might set them up for success for this dragon fight, but On is sitting on top of a ward. Wing is looking to re-engage. Headbutt pulverized, Volt Breaker right on top. On tries to flash away. Stand behind me to Elk. Now Shadow re-engages, and he's got Knight in his back pocket looking for a shockwave. Has yet to use it. It's coming off cooldown. Doesn't even need it for now. Elk guns down the cow. And now Scout could be the next one to fall, but he's able to get enough distance between him and the rest of BLG. It is a good look for them to give a priority for the second dragon and just invest resources into trying to get Scout ahead of Knight in this matchup. The Rift Herald.
The whole point of the play before was to make sure that Knight was uncomfortable. Maybe they make a play going back in because they still have ultimates. They still have abilities to play with.
Shun going in. He finds the cease and desist right on top of Knight. Massive knockup from Wink. Can Scout get in there? But good shield from Braum as he's able to block damage. But Paze finds Knight in the back line with that Moonlight Vigil. And now Paze trying to step up and be the hero for JDG. But Shun goes out. Shadow flashing forward onto Paze. Paze can only go forward, but is he going to get any kills back? No! BLG turn the tides of the battle and now find themselves ahead in the game.
I want to watch that back because I don't think Wink was doing his damnedest to make sure that Aphelios can fire. That is his entire job this game, is stop Xin Zhao from getting onto him, stop Braum from applying any meaningful CC. So BLG, they get kills, they get Scout's flash as well, and they grab the mid-tier turret.
100-0 anytime soon. He went for the Leandry so that he could at least burn the HP off of that Rod of Ages stacking on Knight's Orianna there. As you called out,
I think it's a mistake, man. This Leandry's is so fake. One here. So this means it is so much easier, more convenient for Elk and Bin. Push those lanes out, get into the spot so you can get this dragon. So third dragon of the game goes over to BLG, and honestly, we're looking at Jing Dong as a bit slow here to the push. Already too late. Scryers comes out, Wink knocks him out. That's Otacon for free going over to JDG, and now you're going to see the rush come in from BLG. How much more can they grab? They're going to be able to push a mid lane turret.
First time this series that JDG have picked up an Otacon for themselves. And now this is a major team fighting buff that can help them try and turn the series around into a win. As Wink engaging onto Shadow for a knock-up there, Shadow answers back. Glacial Fissure will slow down the fight. Wink might be in trouble, already popping the ultimate for damage reduction. Shadow has him walked down with the dark possession. Scout goes in, Shun onto the backline, looking to blow up Elk. They got the Lucian, and now JDG, can they carry out the fight? On's gonna be the next target to fall. Shadow trying to turn the fight around, looking for Scout on this Aurora and blow up these stacks here as they finally knock out the Aurora. But Xiaoshu is dancing on the picks of a triple kill. It's a 2v2, but Shadow will find Shun alongside Bin, and I don't think Xiaoshu can find a 1v2 in this scenario. He's got a lot more HP. He tries to fly.
He's doing it!
Looks for Shadow. Can he find Bin next? But he has to deal with the Maiden and the power of the sustain of this Yorick. Xiaoshu is doing his damnedest, but in the end, it's Giga Bin that stands over them all.
And our former Royal Never Give Up top laners go at it in a duel. It is a verified quadra kill here for Xiaoshu, taking 4 members of BLG down and unable to do the rest. I mean, that was a really close fight. I was wondering when this Ambessa was going to get interested in the end.
This calculation could have costed JDG. They're still down in gold, but a quick pick on the On could at least give them a small advantage for this next dragon that just spawned. Hang on, Xiaoshu catching Shadow as well. There's no flash on the Xin Zhao. He tries to push him away with the Crescent Guard, but it was into the wall, so not that much distance gained. JDG just took 2 members off the map, and that's Baron.
And that might be the honeymoon over for BLG, as now JDG get access to the Baron. They get 2 free kills off of that. The only thing that's going well, thank you to our observers, BLG grabbing the Dragon at the same time. Yorick already moving into that, so that'll be Dragon's soul point here for Bilibili. But JDG are winning fight after fight and getting it closer for their opponents. Now, going on to this mid-tier 1, it's going to be a single turret earned during this play, and they'll still have 2 minutes after this Baron subsides before that Dragon spawns.
Yeah. For BLG's sake, they are now on Soul Point. And Chemtech's Soul is a lot stronger these days than we might have remembered it earlier in the season. Now the rest of JDG pushing up on the bottom side of the map. Scout pushing solo into the mid lane. BLG getting a little scary, trying to jump onto Shun now as he tries to walk away. The concussive blows fully stacked, knocked up. Shockwave connects as well. Shun is deleted from Summoner's Rift, and Pays is going to be next. The flash away, what for? The concussive blows stack up anyway. They lose Wink in just a flash, and just like that, Alk, everything goes wrong for JDG, and BLG severely interrupted the teleport with the displacement. Xiaoshu at least will take Elk off the map, and Scout tries to take a tier 2 turret off away from BLG as well.
What is this? You're just gonna die?
There's not a minion wave to really clear, and Scout might have just compromised his position, forced the flash as well. And just like that, Scout loses both summoner spells to not really gain anything.
We should have just saved this. They need to chase them out right now. I'm gonna be honest though, Rafa. I feel like Wink is not playing this Alistar at all how he's supposed to. His spells no longer available for JDG.
Yeah, it is quite frustrating, as any JDG fan will tell you, to see advantages seemingly be thrown away like this. But BLG, they are dominant for a reason. They're able to find these windows to punish. Xiaoshu might be the next one, forced to flash away. Shun sends it, but does he have any follow-up? Not really. He tries to flash away, but he still ends up dying. And BLG finding Scout.
I'm conflicted. I feel like the 2 wolves inside me are barking at each other. Because on one hand, I really want to be excited for BLG. I've been such a fan of this team ever since they really got that core of
JDG in this river. There's just no chance to get into the pit. That Baron's gone.
Remember, all about entrenchment. How are you ever supposed to walk up through an Orianna ball here as JDG? You need to force the issue. They're already late on the mid wave. BLG are going to choke them out of this game. And if the dive composition couldn't get ahead early enough...
At least they should not on paper, but a teleport is coming in from Scout. A last-ditch effort. This could decide the game, as Shun is going to send it on to Elk. He has Flash and Barrier. Scout is able to join up with him. The GA is going to be procced here. Massive damage from Pays with the Moonlight Vigil and the Infernum Gun, but Elk is now able to survive. The Flash from Pays gets himself away away from Shadow, and a good knockup from Wink distanced himself, but Xiaoshu will fall and pay the price. Wink is the next one, and BLG, even with the engage from JDG, still stand tall with all 5 members on their squad. They rout off Pays, and BLG are about to put the final nail in the coffin, and they will finally put to rest the undefeated streak from JDG in series score.
JDG, they beat him up twice in the regular season of last split, but it won't matter. BLG, this honeymoon continues. Shun goes on a one-way mission to go tag some former teammates. It's not enough. BLG are looking to continue being 5-0 in the LPL.
Game 1 does not matter in the eyes of BLG. It's all about how you finish the series in the end. BLG will take down JDG 2-1.
A very, very competitive series here.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.